Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we are taking a look at Awakened Antandra. She looks absolutely awesome. We've got her, sort of early skill descriptions without multipliers and stuff like that to look at. I think she looks like she could be completely busted. I think it's a matter of how big some of these numbers are, especially around energy, and how quick she activates some of her abilities. But it's looking like a pretty solid kit, in my opinion, in general. So we'll have to wait and see final numbers, but we're going to go through the kit and stuff in general. She is in the game with this event that just dropped over on the test server, so we do have this to go through as well, which is the standard stuff. You know, you're going to get your general rewards, your extra time gazers and stuff like that. Honestly, if she's really good, it's going to be kind of sad for me, because over here I am kind of starved. I've only got 95 pulls, so you know, we'll see how we go. I hope she's not too broken that I feel sad about not having enough, but let's get over into the skills. Like I said, she does look wicked. I think Antandra was a great pick for Maulers. I think it's a great choice. So let's jump over here and we'll take a look. Now, once again, massive shout out to the guys at, there's the Discord, Floof Prior. I don't know if this is the AFK Inside guys, or if that's someone different, but yeah, massive shout out to them for getting this. But let's go through her skills. So she is going to be an agility-based warrior, and looks like we're focusing on debuffing and damage, but, you know, she does look like to have a really solid damage-dealing kit, along with some survivability. So let's go through it. So this is going to be the ultimate. Active. Antandra channels the power, and everywhere that there's a 0 in green, just note that this, I'll probably say X, it's an unknown amount is what those things are going to be. But active, Antandra channels the power of Draconic Fire to activate Dragon Flame Armor, gaining different types of enhancements. Activating this effect does not consume energy. After activation, Dragon Flame Armor consumes X energy per second, and the effect will be deactivated once her energy runs out. While activated, Antandra is unaffected by energy recovery effects from others, as well as energy reduction effects. So it's set, but we will find that she does have other ways to manipulate that energy. So basically, her ultimate puts her into a berserk mode that has a time limit based on her energy. That's pretty much what we're looking at. Passive. Dragon Flame Armor scorches nearby enemies, inflicting health loss equal to X% of Antandra's attack rating every second. Antandra's normal attacks also inflict scorching damage, and her other skills will have additional enhancements when cast. While Antandra's health is above X%, healing she receives is converted into energy recovery. So keeping her topped off and keeping that healing rolling will be huge for her to maintain her energy flow. For every 1% of max health she is healed, Antandra recovers X energy. Once again, we got to wait and see those energy numbers. While Dragon Flame Armor is active and Antandra's health is below a certain threshold, her health loss is converted into energy loss. And what I think this means is that instead of losing health, she loses energy, which is once again a survival effect. For every 1% of max health she loses, that loss is converted into a loss of X energy instead. When the Dragon Flame Armor state ends, Antandra recovers health equal to a percentage of the total scorching damage dealt while the Dragon Flame Armor was active, so she gets a heal at the end of the Berserk mode. Scorching Flames can melt any armor. Every time Antandra deals scorching damage to an enemy, their physical resistance is permanently reduced by a certain amount of points, and their buffer is reduced by a certain amount of points, while Antandra also permanently steals a certain percentage of these attributes. This effect can stack up to X times per enemy. So once again, this is going to be very dependent on these numbers, how big these numbers are, for how supportive, not just damage dealing she is, because obviously she is going to be shredding enemies. Next ability. Antandra engages her current target in a duel, taunting them for a certain amount of seconds. The duel ends early if either party is slain in the meantime. Dragon Flame Armor Enhancement. So when she's in the Dragon Flame Armor state, she gets this enhancement. The target suffers scorching damage, losing health equal to X% of Antandra's attack rating every second during the duel. Then we obviously have the signature item upgrades for this one. If by the end of the duel, Antandra has inflicted more damage and health loss on the target than the target inflicted on her, she recovers a certain amount of energy. That amount of energy goes up with the next increase. And then at signature item 20, during duels, Antandra is immune to control effects, and damage from enemies other than the target is reduced by a certain percentage. Signature item 30, during duels, the duel target deals a certain percentage less damage to enemies other than Antandra. And then finally, we have signature item 40. During duels, during duels, like, actually, it's not that too bad. Anyway, it just sounds weird. When Antandra takes fatal damage from an enemy other than the duel target, she becomes immune to that damage and briefly becomes invincible. This effect can be triggered up to a certain amount of times per duel. So that's a pretty handy effect. If she walks into the battle and instantly starts this, like, she's going to have that good survivability to get her energy up to get into the state. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see the timing of abilities and stuff like that. Spear barrage. Antandra enhances her spear with draconis gems, then launches a barrage of jabs at enemies within a certain range in front of her, dealing multiple strikes of damage equal to X% of her attack rating. Dragon Flame armor enhancement. Each strike that lands deals scorching damage to the enemy, inflicting health loss equal to X% of her attack rating. Then we have the furniture. While casting this skill, Antandra also gains a certain amount of accuracy, Dragon Flame armor enhancement. For every enemy hit by the strike, crit rating for the next strike is increased. Then at 9, furniture. For every X amount of points that Antandra's physical resist exceeds that of the target, keeping in mind she's buffing her physical resist by stealing it, but for every point she exceeds the target, Antandra's damage from this attack is increased by a certain percent. And Antandra can increase her damage by a maximum of X%. Dragon Flame armor enhancement. For every X points that Antandra's buffer exceeds that of the target, the health loss inflicted by scorching damage from this attack is increased by X%. Antandra can increase it by a certain amount, yada yada yada. You get the point. She's stealing stats, she's gaining stats, those stats. Also, she's gaining defensive stats that also help her offensive pressure. That's what we're looking at there. Next one, Warrior's Will. Antandra hurls her spear at the enemy hero with the highest attack rating, dealing damage equal to X% of her attack rating. She then leaps to the spear's location, dealing an equal amount of damage to enemies in her path. And then the armor enhancement. When Antandra leaps to the spear's location, she deals damage equal to X% of her attack rating to enemies near the target while knocking them down and stunning them briefly. Enemies hit suffer scorching damage, receiving health loss equal to X% of her attack rating. And then we have the engravings. When the skill ends, Antandra gains X points of haste for a certain amount of seconds. And then E60, she steals a certain amount of attack rating of enemies hit for a certain amount of time. So once again, she's just like, she's stealing and stealing and stealing and just dealing a ton of damage, and she's also got that little bit of control and the survivability in her kit. Now we have her awakening passive, and this one seems pretty solid. Once again, we have to wait and see the numbers on it. But at the start of battle, Antandra gains a certain amount of energy, and her energy recovery rate is increased for the full duration of the battle. While Dragon Flame armor is active, energy consumption per second is reduced to a certain amount. It says 0 here, but 0 is your placeholder, so it will be a certain amount. Once the total active duration of Dragon Flame armor reaches a certain amount of time, the state will no longer consume energy to remain active. Subsequently, each cast of Antandra's ultimate will consume a certain amount of energy, and the health loss inflicted by scorching damage from all sources will permanently increase by a certain amount. So that is her kit. I think the kit looks incredibly solid. We'll just put a picture of her up while we talk about her. But like, I just think that kit, provided the numbers aren't horrible, she has infinitely scaling, like, not infinitely, but she has a very large scaling damage over time, which gives her more viability. She has shredding for the enemy, which benefits all party members. She has some survivability with the duel. She just has a lot in her kit that, as long as the numbers aren't rubbish, I think she's going to be a very strong unit. That is just my thoughts based on this. Once again, I could be wrong. With these characters, it's always iffy, because if they come into battle and you can't make them live, well, we do have a lot of ways to make these kind of characters live, but I just, yeah, provided the numbers are decent enough, I feel like she's going to shred. We will have to wait and see. Once again, I am so starved on the time gazers that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to build her up straight away, but We'll see. I think she's going to be decent. Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.